No one saw this coming. A routine episode of The View turned into chaos. Joy Behar, known for speaking her mind, went head-to-head with Bryan in a clash so intense, it left the entire studio stunned. Voices were raised, respect was questioned, and rumors are swirling that Joy may have quit the show for good. Stick around. You won't believe what really happened behind the scenes. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you never miss an update. Now let's dive into what really happened. No one, and we mean absolutely no one, saw this coming. What began as a routine episode of The View, the kind viewers have watched for years with their morning coffee, suddenly turned into one of the most talked about and shocking moments in daytime television history. Millions tuned in expecting playful banter, thoughtful discussion, and maybe a few jokes along the way. Instead, they found themselves watching a confrontation so intense that it reportedly pushed Joy Behar to walk away from the table, possibly for good. At first, everything felt familiar and comfortable. The set looked the same. The audience was smiling. The energy in the room was light. When country music superstar Bryan was introduced, the crowd applauded warmly. Known for his chart-topping hits, easygoing personality, and role as a television judge, Luke seemed like the perfect guest for a relaxed and entertaining conversation. The hosts welcomed him with jokes and laughter. Luke laughed along, appearing calm, confident, and ready to enjoy the moment. For the first few minutes, nothing felt out of place. The conversation stayed focused on his music career, his journey in the entertainment industry, and how fame has changed his life. Viewers at home had no reason to believe anything unusual was about to happen. But slowly, almost invisibly, the mood began to shift. As the discussion continued, Joy Behar, one of the show's longest-running and most outspoken co-hosts, began guiding the conversation toward more serious territory. This wasn't unusual. The View has always been known for tackling tough topics, and Joy has built her reputation on saying exactly what's on her mind, without hesitation or apology. Her tone became sharper, her questions more pointed. What started as casual conversation quietly transformed into something much heavier. Bryan, still composed, answered respectfully. He smiled, explained his perspective, and tried to keep things light. But Joy wasn't finished. She pushed further, bringing up issues that touched on values, influence, and responsibility, topics that can instantly divide opinions. The studio audience sensed a shift before anyone else. Laughter faded. Applause stopped. You could almost feel the tension traveling through the room. Other co-hosts glanced at one another, unsure whether to step in or let the conversation play out. The atmosphere no longer felt friendly. It felt unpredictable. Joy's words became more direct. Luke's responses became more careful. And suddenly, what once felt like a friendly interview began to resemble a confrontation unfolding in real time. Viewers watching at home leaned closer to their screens. Social media users later described the moment as uncomfortable, awkward, and hard to watch. This wasn't the usual back-and-forth debate the show is known for. This felt personal. By the time the cameras cut to a commercial break, it was clear something had gone very wrong. The smiles were gone. The energy was broken, and nothing about The View felt normal anymore. Everything changed with a single question. One question that would shift the entire energy of the room and turn a lively interview into a tense standoff. Joy Behar, known for her bold and sometimes biting questions, asked Bryan something that immediately struck a nerve. But it wasn't about his music, his awards, or his appearances on television. No, this question cut deeper. It touched on values, responsibility, and the influence he has over millions of fans. For a celebrity used to light-hearted interviews, it was a moment that demanded careful consideration. Luke, ever professional, responded calmly at first. He smiled politely, explained his perspective, and tried to frame his answer in a way that was clear, respectful, and approachable. To a casual viewer, it might have seemed like just another thoughtful response. But Joy wasn't satisfied. She leaned in, her tone sharper now, her questions more insistent. She interrupted him mid-sentence, challenging his words and pressing for a more direct answer, a move that immediately raised attention in the studio. That's when the dynamic shifted. For the first time in the episode, Luke Bryan's calm exterior began to crack. His jaw tightened. His eyes showed a hint of frustration. He took a measured breath and then spoke up, not aggressively, but with authority. He made it clear that he would not allow himself to be interrupted or painted into a narrative that he didn't agree with. His words were firm, precise, and delivered with a quiet confidence that left no room for misunderstanding. The studio audience reacted instantly. The usual buzz of chatter, laughter, and applause disappeared. All you could hear was the subtle tension, a collective holding of breath. It was one of those rare moments on live television when everyone, from the crew to the viewers at home, realizes that something extraordinary and uncomfortable is happening. Other co-hosts tried to intervene. They attempted to steer the conversation back to lighter topics or mediate the tension, but it was too late. The energy had already shifted. What had started as a spirited discussion now felt personal, almost like a battle unfolding live on national television. The smiles that had opened the show were gone. The easy laughter evaporated. Every word exchanged carried weight. Every glance seemed loaded with meaning. Joy, known for her quick wit and unflinching confidence, didn't back down. Instead, she doubled down. Her tone grew sharper, her body language more assertive, her interruptions more pointed. She was used to commanding the table, used to being one of the strongest voices in the room, and she was not about to let a guest push her around, even if millions were watching. But Luke wasn't intimidated. With calm precision, he reiterated his point, defending his stance without aggression, but leaving no doubt that he expected mutual respect. He was firm, clear, and unyielding, a combination that left viewers on the edge of their seats. In that moment, something unspoken passed between the two. It wasn't just a debate about influence or values anymore. It was a clash of wills, a confrontation between two strong personalities, each unwilling to concede. And as the camera lingered on their faces, audiences could sense the tension building, like a storm quietly gathering strength before it finally breaks. By the time the commercial break arrived, everyone in the studio, including the producers, knew that this episode had crossed a line. This was no ordinary disagreement. This was a turning point, the moment when a lively debate became the first spark in what would soon become a full-blown controversy. The question had changed everything, and nobody in that room or watching from home would forget the charged energy that followed. The tension that had been quietly building finally erupted, transforming what was once a lively, entertaining discussion into a full-blown battleground. Every glance, every word, every pause carried a weight that could be felt even by viewers at home. The studio lights were bright, the cameras rolling, but the atmosphere had changed completely. As the exchange escalated, Joy Behar's tone became noticeably sharper. Her voice carried an edge that hadn't been there before, a mix of frustration and determination to dominate the conversation. She pushed harder, interrupted more frequently, and seemed unwilling to let Luke Bryan fully express his perspective. What was meant to be a dialogue had now become a clash. Luke, on the other hand, remained calm and measured, but his responses grew more direct. With each challenge Joy threw at him, he carefully defended his stance. And then came the moment that changed everything. He called out what he felt was unfair framing. He didn't yell, he didn't mock. He simply spoke clearly and calmly, pointing out that the questions and assumptions being made didn't accurately reflect his position. Joy was caught off guard. Rarely challenged in this way on her own show, she had built a reputation for commanding the table and guiding the conversation. To have someone stand their ground against her, respectfully but firmly, disrupted her rhythm and rattled her composure. Instead of stepping back, Joy reacted emotionally. Her voice rose, sharper and louder. She dismissed Luke's explanation with a wave of her hand and a pointed remark. It was clear to everyone in the room, and to viewers watching at home, that this was no longer a friendly discussion. The air in the studio was thick with tension. And then it happened, the moment that froze the room. Luke Bryan, looking directly at Joy Behar, said politely, firmly, and with unmistakable clarity, that respect goes both ways. The audience reacted instantly. Gasps rippled through the studio. Whispers spread among the crew and co-hosts. A few tentative claps punctuated the silence, as if to acknowledge the courage it took to speak up in that moment. The energy in the room was electric. For a split second, Time seemed to slow. Joy leaned back, stunned. Her eyes widened slightly, her usual confident expression replaced by visible surprise. For years, she had been one of the most dominant voices at the table, rarely challenged and almost never shaken. But now, live on air, the balance of power had shifted. The dynamic that had defined the show for years was suddenly unsettled. The other co-hosts exchanged concerned looks, trying to gauge whether to intervene or let the moment play out. Some attempted to redirect the conversation, but the shift had already happened. The tone, the mood, and the energy of the room were completely altered. Moments later, the show abruptly cut to another break. When the cameras returned, the atmosphere had not recovered. Joy appeared distracted and distant. Her usual sharp wit and energy were noticeably muted. She participated, but something had changed. The tension was still there, lingering like smoke in the air, although the conversation continued. The damage had already been done. Viewers at home felt it. Social media immediately exploded with clips of the clash, as millions debated who was right, who had overreacted, and whether this was the most dramatic moment The View had ever aired. It was a rare, unforgettable moment in live television, one that revealed not just a clash of opinions, but a collision of personalities, each unwilling to yield, and each aware that this confrontation would be remembered long after the cameras stopped rolling. In that moment, The View wasn't just a talk show. It had become a battleground of respect, influence, and authority, unfolding live for the world to see. The tension that had unfolded live, on air, didn't end when the cameras cut. According to reports and insider whispers, Joy Behar did not take the exchange lightly. What viewers saw on television was only part of the story. The drama continued behind the scenes, away from the bright lights and millions of watching eyes. Sources close to the show claimed that after the episode ended, backstage tensions were palpable. Producers reportedly attempted to calm the situation, reminding everyone that this was a live broadcast and that disagreements happen all the time. But Joy felt something deeper, a sense of being undermined and disrespected, not only by Bryan, but by the way the entire scenario had unfolded. For someone who has spent decades commanding attention and shaping conversations at The View, this was more than just a disagreement. It was a challenge to her authority and her presence at the table. Then came the shocker. According to multiple insiders, Joy Behar told producers that she was done, not just upset about a single question or a tense moment with a guest. She reportedly expressed that she was done with the show itself. A decision like that sent ripples through the studio and the production team. The host, who had become a cornerstone of daytime television, was allegedly stepping away, potentially permanently. News of her absence from subsequent tapings only fueled speculation. Fans noticed immediately. Social media exploded with discussion, debate, and outrage. Clips from the episode went viral within hours. Millions of viewers dissected every glance, every pause, and every word exchanged between Joy and Bryan. Some praised her for standing her ground. Others criticized her reaction, suggesting she had overstepped. Either way, the public could not stop talking. The timing of her absence added another layer of intrigue. Was this a temporary break to cool off after a heated exchange, or was it the beginning of the end for her time on the show? Fans scoured interviews, social media posts, and behind-the-scenes leaks for clues. Every minor statement became fodder for speculation, with headlines questioning whether this was a career-altering moment. Inside the studio, the producers were reportedly scrambling to manage the fallout. Decisions had to be made quickly. How to handle the public reaction, how to maintain the show's image, and how to possibly reconcile with Joy Behar. Yet, in spite of their efforts, the story had already taken on a life of its own. By the next morning, every major entertainment outlet had picked up the story, and viewers were glued to every update. This incident also sparked broader conversations about the pressures of live television. How do hosts maintain composure when confronted by unexpected challenges? How do guests handle probing questions that touch on sensitive personal or professional topics? And most importantly, what happens when authority and influence clash on air in front of millions of viewers? For Joy Behar, the moment was more than just a clash with a guest. It was a turning point, A situation that forced her to confront her own position, her role, and her future on the show she had helped define for decades. Meanwhile, fans, critics, and media outlets could only speculate. Was this walkout a temporary pause to reflect and regroup, or was it a final curtain for one of daytime television's most iconic personalities? The uncertainty added fuel to an already fiery conversation. And for millions of viewers, the drama wasn't just entertaining, it was historic. In the end, the walkout and the rumors surrounding it left everyone asking the same question. Could a view ever be the same without Joy Behar? Or was this just the start of a new chapter in the show's history? Whether Joy Behar officially quit The View because of this clash or not, there's one truth that cannot be ignored. This moment revealed something much bigger than a single on-air argument. What unfolded wasn't just a disagreement between a co-host and a celebrity guest. It was a striking reminder of the delicate, unpredictable nature of live television. Live TV is a world where a split-second decision, a sudden tone, or a misinterpreted remark can instantly change everything. What starts as a casual, entertaining conversation can escalate into tension that no one on set, and certainly no one at home, could have predicted. This episode exposed that fragility in a way that captivated millions and sparked debate across social media platforms, entertainment outlets, and living rooms around the country. Beyond the unpredictability of live broadcasts, the clash also highlighted how quickly a conversation can turn into confrontation. Joy Behar, a longtime icon at the table, known for her sharp wit and fearless opinions, found herself in a rare position, being challenged publicly and firmly. Bryan, on the other hand, demonstrated the power of remaining composed, setting boundaries, and standing his ground without aggression. This balance, or imbalance, is what made the exchange so compelling. Millions of viewers were not just witnessing a dispute. They were witnessing a lesson in respect, authority, and communication unfold in real time. This moment also reflected the audience's craving for authentic dialogue. In today's world, viewers are no longer satisfied with scripted tension or manufactured drama. They want honesty, spontaneity, and real reactions. When Joy and Luke collided, it felt raw and unfiltered, a moment that was unscripted, unpredictable, and completely human. That authenticity is exactly why the episode went viral, sparking endless commentary, memes, and discussions. People weren't just interested in celebrity gossip. They were captivated by the real human interaction at the heart of the clash. Bryan walked away from the exchange with his reputation largely intact, even strengthened, for handling the situation with calm professionalism. He didn't raise his voice, he didn't insult or belittle, yet he made it clear that respect must be mutual. Joy Behar, meanwhile, faced criticism from some corners, accused of overreacting or being too confrontational, but she also received immense support from fans who admired her honesty and unwillingness to compromise her voice. For them, Joy was simply being true to herself, even under immense pressure, and that courage resonated with viewers everywhere. This wasn't just a celebrity clash. It was a cultural moment, a reflection of larger conversations happening in society about power, respect, and the challenges of speaking your truth. It reminded us all that even the most powerful voices that have shaped conversations for decades, can be challenged, and that challenges don't always happen on a controlled stage. Sometimes they happen live, in front of millions of people, with no safety net. And perhaps the most profound lesson of all is this. Sometimes, walking away speaks louder than staying seated. Whether Joy Behar chose to step back permanently, or just temporarily, her decision sent a message that resonated far beyond the studio. It was a statement about boundaries, self-respect, and the courage to recognize when a situation has gone too far. As viewers continue to debate what truly happened behind the scenes, one question looms larger than any other. Was this the end of Joy Behar on The View, or simply the most explosive chapter yet in her storied career? The answer remains unknown, but one thing is certain. This moment will be remembered as one of the most dramatic, intense, and revealing episodes in daytime television history. It wasn't just a fight. It wasn't just a walkout. It was a wake-up call about the fragile nature of live conversation, the power of authenticity, and the way strong personalities collide when the spotlight is on. And that is why millions of people continue to watch, debate, and share this story. Because in that room, at that moment, television wasn't just entertainment. It was real life, unfolding in front of the world.